every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News, reaching you live from our Lagos studios. I am Oluyemisi Olubi, and here are the top stories we're tracking at this hour. President Muhammadu Buhari is on his way back to Nigeria after the anti-corruption summit that took him to the United Kingdom. While in London, the president spoke about his assessment of the fight against corruption, insecurity, and how he uncovered the padding of the 2016 budget. The president says if he had not uncovered the padding of the budget, corruption would have crept into the 2016 budget, with the technocrats taking the blame. Buhari says he would be making a comprehensive broadcast of what has been recovered and from which individuals on May 29, 2016. The president further explains that he is taking his time because he wants to make sure that those indicted are successfully prosecuted. President Buhari also spoke on security issues, the fight against Boko Haram, the havoc by herdsmen, kidnapping and the resurgence of militancy, and what will happen to those blowing up gas pipelines in the Niger Delta. Meanwhile, the president held a closed-door meeting with Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, just before leaving for Abuja. Nigerians abroad have continued to show support for the anti-corruption stance of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. A group of Nigerians in the United Kingdom, Progressive Solidarity Forum, stormed the venue of the anti-corruption summit held in London with placards and messages of solidarity to show support for President Buhari's anti-graft agenda. Recall that the two-day summit held in London was tagged Together Against Corruption and had in attendance world leaders. The federal government has begun the implementation of the 2016 budget by releasing funds to ministries, departments and agencies for the execution of their projects. This was disclosed by the Budget and National Planning Minister, Udoma, at the breakdown of the 6.07 trillion naira budget in Abuja. To ensure that funds are duly utilized, the government has ordered the MDAs to produce their project's execution reports monthly. Also at the budget breakdown were Minister of State for Budgets, Zainab Ahmed, Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, Minister of Niger Delta, Uguru Usani, Minister of Labour, Chris Ngege, and Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Kaudi Fayemi. According to Udoma, the administration may reset the implementation calendar to its original plan between January and December, which is the best time for project executions. And on to matters of, still with the budget, the Minister of National Planning, Senator Udoma, says 306 billion naira recovered looted funds would form part of the resources to finance the 2016 budget deficits. He made this disclosure while announcing details of the 6.06 trillion naira budget, with the Calabar, Lagos and Lagos Kano rail lines taking combined allocations of 120 billion naira from the 1.75 trillion naira total capital budget, with each of the rail lines gulping 60 billion naira. The Calabar-Lagos Rail project was one of the major controversies between the presidency and the National Assembly, as President Muhammadu Buhari insisted it must be included before he would give his assent to the 2016 appropriation bill. The 6.06 trillion 2016 budget outlay represents an increase of about 35% over 2015 budget provision of 5.067 trillion naira. And now on matters of corruption, the federal government has ordered an investigation into the military payroll as a means of cleaning up what has been perceived as a rot in the military personnel payments, following revelations in the course of the trial of the former Chief of Defense Staff Air Marshal Alex Bade at the Federal High Court, Abuja. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, has directed an investigation into the payrolls of the Air Force, the Navy and the Army by the Continuous Audit Team of the federal government. Bade is facing trial for allegedly diverting the sum of 558 million naira monthly from the Nigerian Air Force account into private pockets. Meanwhile, the Continuous Audit Team has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing the payrolls of the 3 services, which have not yet been put on the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, in order to ensure all possible loopholes that could lead to leakages. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has performed extremely well despite allegations suggesting that the agency is being used as a tool for political vendetta by government. This is according to the Chairman, House Committee on Financial Crimes, Kaudi Oladele, while fielding questions of the performance of the agency under the present government of President Muhammadu Buhari. Oladele says the agency is only acting in line with its mandate. National Assembly correspondent Emmanuel Ahijane brings us more.
No doubt, one of the cardinal agendas of the President Muhammadu Buhari government is the fight against all forms of corruption in all their ramifications. Leading this fight is the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which has recorded successes in this direction, but not without the usual criticism from sections of the society who perceive this renewed drive as selective.
If there are some perceived enemies of the people that the government is fighting, it is these people. They are not enemies of government. They are enemies of people. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. Since the EFCC started picking people up and questioning them, recovering money, is there any one of them that has come out to say that he did not steal?
Praising the agency's effort, the representative says President Muhammadu Buhari has been a motivating factor for the successes recorded so far.
We also know that we have NDDC, and
the agency has in recent times been criticized for persecuting only perceived opponents of the present administration, an allegation the Commission is consistently denying.
All over the world, the issue of women empowerment is a core focus of any government in view of their economic contribution. The federal government says it will promote the standards in production and services by women in order to strengthen their existing capacity. The Minister of Trade and Investment made this known at the 4th African Day of Standardization in Abuja. Kikelamo Okere completes the story.
The subject of empowerment of women is becoming a burning issue that the United Nations in their report have emphasized that the gender issue to be given priority. The Minister of State for Trade and Investment says the theme of this year's celebration, Women Empowerment towards AU Agenda 2063, is to honor the contribution of women towards development of the continent. The African Union Vision 2063 is aimed at self-sufficiency, where Africans can harness all resources to meet their needs without reliance on foreign goods and services.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment recognizes the strength of women empowerment and is working policies towards support for this greater economic performance. Programs to endanger the uptake of standards in production and services by women will be promoted continuously to encourage and strengthen existing capacities.
Acting Director General, Standard Organization of Nigeria, says this year's celebration is to promote the involvement of women in regional and continental standardization and also to reduce regulatory barrier to trade, ensuring availability of uniform and consistent of African standards for promoting African trade.
To support production choices in supplies as well as patronage and consumption. As the continent is working towards the establishment of a continental free trade area, women must be carried along to adopt standards for enhanced empowerment.
With the contribution in agriculture production, innovation and technology, standardization remain a key ingredient in women empowerment, as well as tools to having each free trading opportunity for Nigeria in the African continent. From International Conference Center in Abuja, Kikelomo Okeri, CoreTV News.
Moving on to the hike in fuel prices now, Minister for Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, says the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government is a decision that was inevitable. The minister, while addressing a gathering in Lagos, assures that although Nigerians will feel the initial discomfort, in the long run, the benefits will bring smiles to the faces of all. Akinyobakeye brings us more.
The decision to increase the pump price of petrol by the federal government is being explained as the Minister for Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, disclosed that the removal of fuel subsidy is for the benefits of Nigerians.
I can tell you that that decision is inevitable. If we are to end the crippling fuel scarcity that has enveloped the country, if we are to ensure the availability of products and the suffering that our people have been subjected to should be put an end.
He further explains that the federal government never made plans for subsidy payment in the 2016 fiscal year.
Since the announcement of the new price regime, many have interpreted it as the removal of subsidy. The truth, ladies and gentlemen, is that there was no provision for subsidy in the 2016 appropriation.
Mixed reactions greeted the new price regime, but economists are hopeful that the development will be in the interest of all.
If the people will run away from sabotaging the effort of the government in ensuring competition and stability, availability, then this will work out.
You may recall that the federal government recently removed subsidy on premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, increasing the pump price from 86 naira 50 kobo per litre to a benchmark not exceeding 145 naira per litre. Akinyobakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Still on the tariff increments, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASN, and Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, are pledging their support for the new petrol pump price by the federal government. This formed part of a communique released by the two bodies at the end of a joint National Executive Council meeting in Calabar, the capital of Cross River State in southern Nigeria. The communique states that the increment is a step in the right direction. It also resolved that the decision of the federal government to deregulate the downstream sector of the oil was to encourage investments in refineries, make the product available, and drive down the pump price. The meeting is coming 2 days after the federal government introduced a new price band for premium motor spirit, also referred to as petrol, pegging the highest price at 145 naira per litre. More reactions continue to trail the increase in oil price as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Ikeja District Society, has commended the federal government over the deregulation of the downstream sector of the petroleum industry. Chairman of the society, Benga Adewale, says that deregulation would ensure product availability across the country. Adewale says this would also enable investors in the downstream sector to come in and do business, adding that this would encourage job creation. He, however, says that government should have allowed the forces of demand and supply to determine the price instead of fixing the price for the product. Adewale also appealed to Nigerians to support the government in its bid to ensure total deregulation of the downstream sector. Trade Union Congress is joining in the criticism of the recent removal of petroleum subsidy by the federal government. At a media briefing in Lagos, the national president of TUC, Boboy Kagama, condemns the new price regime while demanding an urgent redress. Akinyobakeye files in this report.
Yet another labor union frowning at the removal of fuel subsidy, a re-echo of a section of Nigerians.
Price is, it caught so many people unaware because there is no any information pertaining to the new price before.
The Trade Union Congress says it will not be caught silent on such a matter affecting millions of Nigerian workers.
The session gave the federal government up to Wednesday, the 18th of May 2016, to invite the leadership of Labour for discussion aimed at determining the appropriate way forward. Trade Union Congress to interface with the NLC and the civil society allies to work out action plans that will put in place to protest the insensitive fuel price hike should the government fail to meet the Wednesday 18th May 2016 deadline.
Petrol pump price is now set at a benchmark not exceeding 145 naira per litre, an 80% rise from the previously subsidized price. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We take to Kaduna State now, where motorists have been criticizing the sudden removal of the fuel subsidy by the federal government, saying the timing is wrong. Many of them say government displayed insensitivity, especially by not alerting Nigerians about the impending change in the pump price of petrol. Our correspondent, who has been going around Kaduna metropolis, reports that motorists groan over the new fuel pump price, saying though the federal government might have good intentions, however, if subsidy must be done away with, it shouldn't be done suddenly.
Some motorists strongly frown at the level of insensitivity and poor mannerism displayed by the federal government in raising the pump price of petrol from 86 naira 50 kobo to 145 naira per litre. They're condemning the manner in which the federal government hit the heart of Nigerians with breaking news on policies or actions that would have immediate negative impact on their lives without wide consultations and public enlightenment.
It's a wrong move anyway. It has to be gradual. If it's gradual, then it will be, maybe people will get used to it. But this one is by fiat. Suddenly, all of a sudden, Nigerian wake up again, the final fuel has been increased to 145. It's wrong. It has to be gradual. Nigerians should be consulted.
In this hard economic environment, they are bringing. This is not the right time for it.
Because how things is going on now, I pray that God will help us, because it's going high increase. How can people make it? Those who are dropping children for school and all this is it's unfair.
However, on the flip side, some motorists say the removal of fuel subsidy would put a lasting end to the incessant fuel crisis, which is putting the nation and innocent citizens at the mercy of certain cabal.
I will be very happy if the fuel will be available like this. You see, it is better we are buying it in this way than fetching 1 gallon 2,000 for black market. So if the product will be available, there is no problem. We'll go on it. But I even pray that the labor will do something so that they will still come down for us.
I will thank God for the man who has the guilt and the political will with her to implement it. With time, we'll be used to it. If you have cancer, you need to carry out surgical operation. You don't dress the wound. That's exactly what this man is doing. So let's give him the chance.
Although the federal government is doing much to gain acceptability on the increase, many are still calling on the federal government to immediately do the needful and return things to the status quo.
And I will take you to the Niger Delta, where another explosion has rocked Chevron Nigeria facility in the oil-rich region. The new militants group, popularly known as the Avengers, detonated bombs on oil well head 10 on the Makaba line. Chevron has in the last few weeks recorded several attacks on its facilities, leading it to declare a force majeure since last Wednesday's attack on the offshore Okan manifold. Meanwhile, the Avengers have since their latest action sent congratulatory messages to themselves on their website. We'll go for a short break now. Do join us again.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government, is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure, like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, you're on CoreTV Primetime News. And here's a recap of tonight's top stories. At this juncture, we would like to remind you that all you need to do to get more updates on our news stories is to visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are at facebook.com/CoreTV News. And you can also check out our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. Or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/CoreTV_News. Governor Ibikunle Amosun says he has taken responsibility for the collapse of the ultra-modern markets complex being constructed at the Old Oyo Road by the popular Itoku Market at Belkuta, the Enugu State capital. A wing of the dual 4-story market complex caved in around 9 a.m., killing Noimot Sikiru, a nursing mother, and injuring 17 others out of about 18 workers who resumed work there in the morning. Amosun, who was cited coordinating the rescue efforts at the scene of the collapsed structure, said he would not leave the location until the excavators and rescue team had completed the zero to ascertain that nobody is still trapped in the rubble. Speaking with supporters on ground, he says the state government would investigate the incident to establish what caused the structure to crumble. And in politics, Yes. And in politics, Mashoud Salvador has emerged as new chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State. Salvador emerged through a simple voice vote and affirmation at the opposition party's Congress held on Friday. Alongside members of the new executives, Victoria Solomon completes the story.
Ahead of its zonal and national congresses, the Lagos State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, changed the baton of leadership through a peaceful congress held at the party secretariat at Ikeja on Friday. The outgoing chairman, Tuji Shele, in his farewell message, sues for peace and unity among members, stressing that the ultimate goal of every member of the opposition party in Lagos should be to clinch the governorship seat come 2019.
I assure you that with your efforts and with the kind of synergy and unity we are trying to build, we shall go places in 2019.
Through a simple voice vote and affirmation in the presence of returning and INEC officials, the new members of the executive emerged one after the other, with Mashoud Salvador as the chairman. Salvador calls on aggrieved members of the party to join hands with him in piloting the affairs of the party.
Today, the new era is on ground. We have to appeal to everybody that is feeling unhappy, that is feeling the marginalized, that feels any other way. I'm appealing to them to come round and let us do this work together.
With the new officers elected, Lagosians and indeed Nigerians wait to see how formidable the opposition will be to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Victoria Solomon, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Lagos chapter of the People's Democratic Party has condemned the recent removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, by the federal government. Addressing journalists in Lagos, the newly elected state chairman, Moshood Salvador, accuses the President Buhari-led administration of working without a structure. Akin Obakeye brings us more.
It is no longer news that the federal government has removed subsidy on petrol. Now, the product sells at a benchmark of 145 naira per litre. The opposition party expectedly is reacting to this federal government policy. Newly elected state party chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned in strong terms the petrol subsidy removal.
After 100 days, you are still there, and they are not ashamed to say 6 months to come, the price will go down again. They don't care. They don't care about the feeling of Nigerians, and that is the problem we are facing. We are totally against the increment in pump price.
The party says it is watching to see how events will unfold.
I strongly agree with the masses in as much as some of his policies are actually acceptable, like that of the corruption. So the subsidy removal, obviously, it's not telling well on the masses, as you can see.
As criticisms build over the new price regime, Nigerians can only hope for a people-driven agenda, irrespective of the political party at the helm of governance. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll go on a short break now. Do join us again.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government, is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure, like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories, from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. The national leadership of the People's Democratic Party says it will no longer hold the Southwest Zonal Congress of the party, originally scheduled for Saturday. The party revealed that it is recalling its officers already sent to Akure, the Ondo State capital, where the Congress was originally scheduled to hold. National Secretary of the party, Wale Oladipo, said the decision to stop the Congress is because of the order by Justice Ibrahim Buba of a federal high court in Lagos, which restrained the party from going ahead with its zonal congress. And now we'll take you to Enugu State, where the Christian Association of Nigeria, Enugu State chapter, has rejected the proposed bill for grazing reserve in the country, describing it as a private business that should not be allowed to see the light of day. The association made its stance known at the Government House in Enugu during a peaceful protest to condemn and register their grievances over the unfortunate incidents of killing, maiming, raping, and destruction of property of innocent people of the state by suspected headsmen, especially the recent attack on Nimbo Uzowani local government area. Addressing Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, the state chairman of CAN, Christian Obiefuna, urged the federal government not to allow the passage of the alleged bill because of the public outcry and its threat to destabilize the country. And in Ebonyi State, the state government says it has uncovered a job scam in the local government system involving 838 cemetery keepers who are receiving consolidated health salary scheme. The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Samuel Okoronkwo, also debunked rumors making the rounds that the state government had concluded arrangements to sack medical workers in the local government areas. Okoronkwo notes that the state government was making moves to find out the workers that are not health workers, but are being paid through the health scheme. Okonkwo further notes that the affected workers will not be sacked, but removed from the scheme and reposted to other areas where they will be useful. And to Gombe State now, Governor Ibrahim Dankwabo has urged ministries, departments and organizations in the state to accept corps members posted to them to undergo their primary assignments. Dankwabo made the call during the closing ceremony of the orientation course for 2016 Batch A corps members at the temporary orientation camp in Amada, Akko local government area. He was represented by his deputy, Charles Ilya. According to Ilya, accepting corps members would enable them contribute their quota to the development of the state and the nation at large. Ilya reiterated government's commitment to ensuring the welfare and safety of corps members posted to the state, advising them to also cooperate with people of their host communities. And on to youth development now. For most people in the country, getting a job sometimes is just for the sake of getting one. Half of the population of job seekers who do get jobs are not really satisfied with what they do. The trend of job dissatisfaction in the private and public sectors has been known to create a lull in employer-employee relationship. A workshop on the need to bridge the gap has been called upon in Abuja, from where our correspondent Aniete Patrick reports that participants are being taught how to survive in such troubled environments. And now we'll bring you the report.
The Universal Human Resource Consult, in its monthly training workshop, is teaching youth the proper knowledge in various job aids in the productivity of an organization, which can also guide them as they climb higher on the rungs of the ladder.
We have discovered that there is always a problem between the employee and the employers. And the workshop today is to enlighten the both employee and the employer on their areas of engagement.
Facilitator of the training, who laid on practical access in which employee-employer bonding can result in organizational development, says job specification should also not be left out for employment opportunity for Nigerian youth.
To enable them to find where their potentials are. Because truly, like you said, sometimes people jump into jobs not necessarily because that's what they want.
Participants who had for long sought ways of creating such relationship for future purposes have been expressing the views on the workshop.
My take home from here is to find a way to put a balance to it. You know, make sure that they do what they're supposed to do, encourage them, push them if they need be, and all that. So that's what I'm going to take home from here.
Most people that create jobs are people who want to engage themselves. There are people who are motivated. There are people who want to succeed. And so this type of training is very good for even those who do not have work at all. It can help them, can motivate them, and they can build their skills.
Nigeria has youth amounting to more than half its population, and with scarcity of jobs to engage them, it is necessary to prepare them through training like this for future working opportunities.
And I will take you to Taraba State, where the Central Bank of Nigeria is planning to target lower-income earners like women, farmers, youth, and entrepreneurs in order to reposition Nigeria's economy. A fair with the theme Promoting Financial Stability and Economic Development, organized by the Apex Bank in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, where bank customers are being trained on the initiatives aimed at creating awareness about economic development initiatives and programs of the bank, was on the front burner. Correspondent Udwak Godwin brings us more.
Hundreds of bank customers are being tutored by the officials of the bank on the CBN's role on development finance, consumers protection, medium and small-scale enterprises, illegal sales of new notes, cashless policy, poor handling habits of Naira notes, e-payment incentives, among others. The sensitization program targeted at customers and people living with disabilities from the APEC Bank is to help develop safe, reliable, and efficient banking initiatives. Participants who are being lectured on fresh initiatives from the CBN and had opportunities to ask various questions on how to resolve issues they have with their commercial banks.
Must we have a consultant in between the commercial banks and the central bank before we assess the loan?
Now, yesterday we were told that it is not good for one to reveal his PIN number. And this is a rural man who has not gone to the four wall of any school. And lo and behold, he is in the city. He wants to withdraw money. Now, what advice will you give to such a person, since he is not expected to disclose his PIN number to anybody?
What will happen on the situation when you pay some money into somebody's account for a purchase of an item? Those items was not gotten and your money was not retrieved.
The APEC Bank notes that the program will also inform Nigerians about available opportunities and how best to utilize them.
So the intention is to make those who are actually economically active participate actively, and so that they will access some of this financing to improve what they are doing. CBN is looking at the situation where begging should be completely off the street. Those who are actually active should be able to access some of this financing to improve whatever they are.
The initiative is a welcome idea as far as many of the participants are concerned.
So they are hiding that most of the farmers are going to change the system. Now, the only problem we have is that they always need assistance. So possibly, they will be expecting assistance from the city.
We'll take a short break now, and when we get back, we'll bring you reports from outside Nigeria and the world of sports.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. We begin with Lebanon, where thousands of people are mourning the death of top Hezbollah military commander Mustafa Amin Baradin in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. According to the Lebanon-based militant group, Mustafa Amin Baradin died in a large explosion near Damascus airport. Hezbollah sent thousands of troops to support Syria's president, Yasser al-Assad. In 2015, the U.S. said that Baradin was behind all Hezbollah's military operation in Syria since 2011. He was also charged with leading the assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri in Beirut in 2005. At least 12 people have been shot dead at a cafe frequented by supporters of the Spanish football club Real Madrid in Iraq by Islamic State militants. It was reported that 3 men opened fire with machine guns at the Al Furat Cafe in Shia town of Balad. The assailants fled, and hours later one blew himself up after being cordoned by Shia militiamen, killing 4 of them. In a claim of responsibility, ISIS says the attack had targeted militiamen and did not mention any connection to the club. In our sports,
our style, and that's what he delivered.
We begin with the English Premier League, where Chelsea's captain John Terry has been offered a new 1-year contract by the Blues and is considering whether to accept or decline. 35-year-old Terry is out of contract at the end of this season, and in January said he would not be extending his stay. Chelsea will be managed next season by Italian Antonio Conte, who takes over from Gus Hiddink. The defender has made 703 appearances since his debut in October 1998. We'll take you to Italy now, where Britain's Andy Murray reached the semi-finals of the Italian Open with a 6-1-7-5 win over Belgium's David Goffin. In a windy condition, Murray lost his first service to love, but won 6 games in a row to take the first set. Meanwhile, world number 1 Novak Djokovic beat Rafael Nadal for the 7th time in a row, winning 7-5, 7-6. The defending champion will now meet the winner of the quarterfinal game between Kei Nishikori of Japan and Austrian Dominic Thiem as he bids for a 5th title in the Italian capital. Djokovic, who beat Murray in the Madrid Open final last week, has now won his last 13 matches and is bidding for a 5th title in Rome. And that's it all on our major news stories tonight. But before we go, here's a recap of our top stories. And on that note, we drop the anchor tonight. Do join us at 12 a.m. for the midnight update. I am Oluyemisi Olubi. Thanks for watching.